Let's just take a moment to appreciate this little clip right here. Notice the sight. Yeah. The laser one, not the one on top. Everybody knows about the Fusion Hollow, but that laser boy. I gotta be honest, I've been sleeping on this thing the whole time. And I have some interesting findings I'm gonna share with you guys. So feel free to continue to enjoy this beautiful, beautiful clip where we single-handedly take over this objective without ever so much as aiming down sight. And let the good strength of the weapon and that one single attachment carry the weight for us. So what I want to really promote about this is that it basically eliminates the need for you to aim down sight. That's one step in what is a traditional dueling gunfight behavior, right? The first thing you do, you see a guy and you aim and then you shoot, right? That's the that's the recipe for digital violence. Yes, no? So step one, aim down sight. Step two, pull trigger. And that's how you kill demands. And in many video games, the hipfire can be reliable, and with practice and expertise, you can kind of learn to start doing both of those simultaneously. And even back in the Call of Duty days, like the OG Modern Warfare 2 days, people started to train themselves because of the close quarters. They started to train themselves to actually do it the opposite way, where they will start while hip firing and then eventually migrate into aiming down sight, so that you do them out of order. But because of how strong the hipfire was in those games, it was something that people can do. I think that is the right behavior in this game that you can adopt out of the right weaponry. So something like the SMGs are phenomenal. This really does ramp it up. I'll give you a little clip on your screen right now so you can kind of see the tightness, the difference. I took this to the aim trainer that I have basically showed you and provided you in other videos. I took this aim trainer inside of there and you can kind of see what it looks like. So when I'm just shooting this thing, when I had the laser sight on, I noticed one thing. When I wasn't fighting the recoil, when I was just letting it be its old chaotic wild self, I noticed my standard recoil would go up into the side a little. But when I had the laser sight on and I wasn't fighting the recoil, it would almost go exclusively vertical, which is almost like the laser sight reduces the horizontal spread and recoil a little bit. It's hard to explain. And that was one thing that I picked up on through the few minutes of testing this out. The second thing is when I actually started to fight the recoil, I noticed how much more centered and how tighter the spread was compared to having the sight on and not. A lot of attachments give you 5 or 10% or something like this here and there. And when they are very small values in the first place, 5% of something that's small already isn't substantial. But whatever this is, it is quite noticeable. And at least through my experience and through my testing, the laser sight is huge. This actually could be something very destructive and very potent. It might be a must-have running option on something like even an LMG. I haven't tested it, but, you know, I probably will now. But it could take something and put it on there. I know a lot of people are fans of the light grip because of the run and gun style, but on the right gun, if you couldn't tell, this is actually going to outweigh that. Now, the hipfire itself isn't actually bad in this game. And for sake of argument, a lot of times when you're in close quarters, you're going to secure those kills anyways. But this thing gives you a bit more comfort out to about 15, 20 meters with it. Where you probably would have had maybe that comfort within about half that distance. But when you do bypass that aiming down sight, it means your overall TTK and your comfort level in a gunfight is going to be higher. If you were shooting first, that means you were inflicting panic and reaction out of the other person. When they start getting hit by bullets, they might decide to shoot or ADS or make a decision before they're comfortable with doing so. So not enough people put weight behind how valuable laser sights or a tighter hipfire are inside of video games. People don't really talk about this, but the laser sight in this game I think is actually wonderful, and more people need to be using it. If you are not using it on your Vector, you're using it on your SMGs, please do. I did go out there and test it on the 880. I tried it on the shotguns because I felt like maybe it would tighten the spread. As I expected, it looks like it affects recoil, not necessarily spread, and I couldn't notice any significant difference between the spread with the shotgun shots. So I wouldn't actually use it on a shotgun, but anything else, it might actually be a best-in-class option for many of you. It's going to impact the gun in a higher way, in a larger way than any other attachment in slot would, and could arguably become a staple within the community. And the only real drawback to these, as always, is the fact that you have a laser pointing out of you. You're more visible. You're recognizable in a game where there's actually a lot of smoke going around all the time. It can actually get you killed. But the only other thing that I would recommend you guys to get down is the fact that you have to basically turn it on every time you swap between ammo types or respawn. So it's a constant maintenance. It kind of sucks, but it might actually be worth investing in. You might find that you enjoy this game and you are going to win more gunfights when you can go ahead and skip having to aim down sight altogether because you can just do it from the hip. So that is the video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Appreciate your love and support. Tick that sub button. I know you want to. You've been watching these videos. You've been loving them. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss more videos just like this. And I'll catch you with another 2042 video tomorrow.